wonder, secrets unfold. True crime stories, let the intrigue be told. Grab a seat, get cozy, let's dive into the plot. With Mac J by my side, there's so much to be sought. Mods from the stars, they light up the night. Chillin' with Van, everything feels just right. Welcome to the mystery, the thrill, the thrill we embrace. Solving cases together we'll trace. With Tabby and Maggie, the journey's begun. With laughter and stories, we'll shine like the sun. Sun. Oh. Spirit time vibes with Lisa and Mark. Tia and Mel igniting the spark. According to Lean, curiosity flows. A curious rose in a garden of woes. Sweet misery whispers, tales that enthrall. While Matt, Meg, and Jody, we gather them all. Welcome to the mystery, the thrill we embrace. Solving cases together we'll trace. With Tabby and Maggie, the journey's begun. With laughter and stories, we'll shine like the sun. Sun. So come along, join the fun tonight. In Aussie true crime, everything feels so right.
Hey, beautiful people. Kez, I've just worked out why I can't see. I'm not seeing Kez in the chat, and I'm like, why? Where is she? I can see her on StreamYard. It's because she's in your chat.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Kez is over in your chat, so she's coming up in the StreamYard, but she's not on my iPad. I'm like, what?
Oh.
She got me blocked. I've just worked it out. Hey, Matt, how are you?
All right, now Kez is here.
Yay, now you're in my... I was just trying to work it out. I'm like, why is Kez not show? I even stopped my iPad and restarted it. You're scaring me, Kez. Matt, I'm at work, but I have been trying to follow this story. Oh my God, Matt, this is a crazy one. Literally crazy. If you don't like mushrooms, come on in and listen. Okay. You scared me. You scared me. I was even trying to work out why you didn't have your wrench. Oh my God, it just what?
What?
Beautiful chick Tracy, how are you, my darling? It's so good seeing all the old gang back together.
It is. Oh man, the mushrooms.
I went shopping today and I was just telling Mac J, there is now mushroom dried chips. And no, I didn't buy any. I'm like, where is everyone? I was like, where's Kez? Why isn't she showing up? We do it so that we can get some content and some watch hours over on Mac J's. So if she ever does decide that she wants to open a channel, we can at least get her started, because she does so much for me that I know it's not a big way of giving back, but it's my little way of trying to help. So
Oh, thank you. But I'm more wildlife than so I'm always posting little videos on birds and whatnot.
I know, I watch them. Come and watch it. It's good to see what other people are up to. All right, so let's get this started because we've got to get it done before I've got to go get Miss Muffet.
Ah,
It's all right. She's in after school care, so we're not in a rush.
oh,
I think it's only about the same size as last night. So this one is the end of last week. So we've got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But I do got to mention something that happened yesterday. I know we've been really on this judge's nerves with the things that have been happening in the court. But yesterday they actually got a protester in the court. What he was protesting, none of us know. But after we come back from lunch, he got up in the courtroom, started yelling out. The judge had him escorted out of the courthouse, and that's all we know. So,
I'm sorry if you told me that, and every time I
got a
see
bit more interest.
Yeah.
I know, they're at Woolies. Let me see if I can find them quickly.
Like, how would you tell what mushrooms they are if they've been turned into chips? You know, you could get yourself a. What are these
We could ask
mushrooms
Erin.
called
I'm
again?
sure she will know.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Top cap mushrooms or cap mushroom.
Let me see if I can share it. These are just for you, Kez. That's what I found today.
Oh, yuck, yuck, yuck.
And they're like
No,
as hard as.
thank you. No, Leah can try first.
I just thought it was. They're just haunting me, honestly. Even last night, like I was going through my Sensi, and we now have a cute as a button mushroom warmer, and it's like, yeah, no. I'll make sure I buy them and bring them up when I come to meet you, Kez. Oh my god, now my fridge is going off. Hi, beautiful Jody.
Hi, Jody. I hope it's not mushrooms, Jody.
Well, I'm going out. That's what I was just saying to Mac J too. I'm going out on the weekend because I've got it's a coach crime tour that I'm going to. So they go to 4 different crime scenes that happened in Brisbane, and they drive you around to it and everything. But I said to the kids that they've got to get their own dinner because it will be out late and I won't be home to cook them dinner. And you know, Mum takes a night off. You've got to give them a week's warning. So my daughter has decided she is having stuffed mushrooms. She doesn't care what Mum says, and that's what she's having for dinner. So I'm going out. I know. I said to her, you better have the smell, everything gone before I get back.
Oh man, you need some deodorizer just thinking about it. Yuck.
Tracy, I'm looking so forward to it. It's going to be a blast. And trust me, I'll be taking photos and filming what I can. It's going to be, yeah. It's done from Jack Sims, so he does like all the history and ghost tours here in Brisbane. And I've been on a few of his ghost ones already, but this is the first crime one I'm going to do with him. Yeah, I will leave the mushrooms. I don't even want to see them. I don't even know when she's going to buy them because she hasn't brought them yet. Anyway. And the good thing is I'm dragging the husband along so he gets to be part of it too. Just what he wants, a day around home. So week 4, part 2. So we're starting at Wednesday, the 21st of May. And it's a delay to today's court hearings. A new witness is set to be questioned at Erin Patterson's murder trial. But there's a slight delay first. The jury hasn't yet been led into the courtroom at the Latrobe Valley Law Courts, and we're waiting for the day's proceedings to get under the way. 13th or 14th of June. Yes, I am interested. Let me write that down somewhere. You're going to have to work out which day. Oh, hang on. That's going without me.
Uh-oh. Did I press something by accident?
No, it was me, I think. I just let it play.
Yeah, I can't do anything with it except...
Actually, I kept that playing while I was trying to write down that date. 13th or 14th of June.
Oh, wait, that was me that time. I was just fiddling because I saw the play button. I didn't think it'd work.
You pressing buttons?
Yes.
Okay. So it's been a delay to start this morning's proceedings with the jury still not in. We're unsure how long the legal discussions will continue, but we'll keep you updated. Remember too, at the end of last night, they cut it early because of the judge wanting to discuss things. And I think it was like close to 12 o'clock before they actually got started. So the digital forensic expert called as a witness. The jury is led into the courtroom and we're underway for today. Justin Beale explains to the jury that another witness will be imposed for Detective Senior Constable Tang, and the prosecution called Shaman Fox Henry, a digital forensic expert, with Victorian Police as the witness. So we had the senior constable on at the end of Tuesday, well, actually most of Tuesday, and he was supposed to come back on the Wednesday morning, but obviously they've got this other officer to stand in for him. I think I'm going to have to put a mushroom one down in our little members one too, a special mushroom.
Yes.
So who is Shaman Fox Henry? Mr. Fox Henry's details to the court his training as a computer expert with the Victorian Police Cybercrime Unit. He explains the various software used by the police to extract data from mobile phones and computers. He's been with the Victorian Police since October 2020, mainly working on data recovery. Yep, mushroom-free zone. Thanks, Kaz. Just what we need. I'm going to try and... I love having the messages there, but... Well, that does turn them off. They interrupt my presentations. Witnesses show a PowerPoint presentation to court. To get through the basics of digital forensics, Mr. Fox Henry has prepared his own slideshow for the court. So here's another lesson for us. Mr. Fox Henry's PowerPoint presentation is flashed up on the screen, titled Digital Forensics. The title of the first slide is What is a Computer? The prosecution asks Mr. Fox Henry what a computer is, and he begins explaining the intellectuals of how data is processed and interpreted by computers. So we've had, what have we had? We've had a mushroom class, a phone class, now a digital forensic.
Digital forensic class.
I hope we get some badges at the end of this.
Yes.
Oh, the training.
Oh, yeah.
So Mr. Fox Henry details how data recovery works off a seized computer. Authorities will take a hard drive, create a digital copy of the contents, and then run the copy through analyzation and recovery software. This software is built to extract data, media, and files and put it into a format readable by humans. Once the data is in a readable form, it is exported to another external hard drive and given to investigators. I would hate to see if they got hold of my computer.
Oh boy.
We should get something. This is like our third class.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox Henry takes... Hey?
I was just going to say diploma in mushrooms.
Yeah. Mr. Fox Henry takes the jury through some more of the basics of digital forensic work. The data is then provided in a non-edible form to police investigators, he says. We move into digital forensics for phones. He says a similar process is followed to extract data. 2 software programs are used to recover data. Cellubrite for phones and Magnet Oxen for computers. What is software, Justin Beale asks. It is the application or program we use to examine or interpret the data, Mr. Fox Henry replies. Mr. Fox Henry says police can search for files of interest by looking at keywords or narrowing down activity over a period of time. He says the individual segments of data are known in the digital forensic space as artifacts.
Artifacts.
And that's yeah. The court hears the files, folders, and data such as internet searches are considered artifacts and can be copied and analyzed by recovering software. The software will generate information about the artifacts such as when it was created or last accessed. Is that a convenient time? Justin Beale rejects, calling for the lunch break. Proceedings will continue at 2:15. Gee, Tracy, you're so sweet. She got a trophy for Kez.
No.
So we're back from the break. The jury is heading back into courtroom 4 and the testimony of Shaman Fox Henry will continue. It's likely to take the rest of the day. Mr. Fox Henry doesn't like people. Don't these people like to use their real names? I know. So the artifacts, files, and folders. We are back after lunch and we continue with Mr. Fox Henry's presentation. The prosecution briefly recaps the term of artifacts, which are items of data that have been tagged by investigators and then analysed by software. Mr. Fox Henry establishes that details such as when an artifact was created, where it is located on a computer, and when it was last accessed can be discovered. A new slide is up, files and folders. A folder holds one or more files, and a folder can be emptied until it is filled, the text says. There is also a diagram on the screen showing icons of files and an icon of a folder for those who aren't familiar. Don't be fooled by Chick Tracy, I know her. Mr. Fox Henry goes over the different categories of information tied to computer files that can refer to time created, data time, last modified date time, and last accessed date time. Created data refers to when a file was initially created. Last modified date refers to the last time a file was edited or changed. Last access data refers to the last time the computer tried to open the file. If you've looked in the properties category of your computer at home, these terms will look familiar. And that's somewhere I try not to go in my computer. A line on one of Mr. Fox Henry's presentation slides states the last access data and time is not a reliable source of user activity. When asked to clarify this, Mr. Fox Henry says viruses, scanner software could potentially impact the last access date, but should not alter the other two categories. I'll just send you the box, Kez. How's that? So we get into the more technical territories now, the EMLX files, which relate to emails. These artifacts contain three parts: a header, message body, and an attachment. The next slide turns into history artifacts, which show a record of internet browsing history and the associated database file. Common browsers include your Google Chrome, Mozilla, and Internet Explorer. He says Internet Explorer is known as Microsoft Edge for our younger audience members. Another term is raised of Falcon, short for favorite icon. A Falcon is the icon associated with a website displayed in the address tabs of the browser. I will break the third wall here. Our readers can look up to the top of their screen and see it very nice ABC Falcon logo. So it's just the top part. I just realized Fox Henry is the last name, not the first. It's these mushrooms are doing my head in. So the slides are shown to the court explaining the various artifacts left over on a computer following the use of a search engine like Google. In a nutshell, it is some of the random looking numbers and letters that can appear in your URL when one conducts a search using a search engine. The next slide covers cookies, two pieces of data a website stores on your computer or device when you visit it. By analyzing the cookies on a computer, forensic investigators can trace back to which websites a computer has visited. The slide ticks over to caches. This is information that can include websites, pictures, and other resources. An example is your mobile phone caches information to allow you to recall where you were on that app. Mr. Fox Henry explains. A few more terms to learn, including the IE in private recovery, URLs. These are the URLs that can be recovered anywhere from a user's device, the presentation says. A Windows timeline activity refers to information about application usage, including the start and end times and the duration of a program that was open for. The slideshow draws to a close as we move on to the case at hand. The devices seized by police in the Erin Patterson case are raised by the prosecution. Each time police seize an item, it is given a unique identifying number referred to as a PALM number. The prosecutor begins with a Cooler Mastered personal computer with the PALM number of 202-308-C-0124-001, which it says was seized on the 5th of August 2023. Mr. Fox says that he commenced his extraction of data from the computer on August 15th.
Mm.
The prosecution tells the court that the seized personal computer had 3 drives: a 120 gigabyte Samsung SSD, a 256 gigabyte Hachime HDD, what's a hard disk drive, and a 120 gigabyte Silicon Power SSD that was disconnected. Mr. Fox says he made a copy of the contents of each drive in the personal computer. He exported a copy of the entire contents to one external drive and then ran a keyword search. The search looked for terms death cap mushrooms, death cap mushroom, and mushrooms and poison on the copy. He then exported all data related to these terms to a second external hard drive in an effort to narrow down the investigation. Hi, beautiful Megan. Welcome
Hi,
in.
Megan.
A report made Mr. Fox Henry following the data extractor is shown to the court. A list of artifacts labeled past search queries is shown. The first record shows a search term iNationalist. The records show a Bling search was done for the iNationalist website on May 28th, 2022. That's 14 months before the lunch. iNationalist is the citizen science website where we've heard witnesses in the trial say that they've posted the location of death cap mushrooms. I'd hate to see if they pulled up mine, what information they would find on death cap.
Mushrooms, yeah.
Could you imagine? It'd be honestly, I was Hey, butterfly kisses, welcome in. A searched artifact from Google Chrome on the same date, May 28th, 2022, shows an internet search was conducted for Coomba Middle Pub. The search was also made minutes after the search for iNationalist. The records show further Bing searches for the term iNationalist were conducted. At the moment, our timeline of May 28th, 2022 looks like 7:20 iNationalist is searched, 7:21 iNationalist is visited, and at 7:23 the Coomba Middle Pub is searched. And we're taking a short break. It's been a long morning or a long afternoon. Back for more with Mr. Fox at 3:30. Records shown to the court show the death cap mushrooms page. So as we return, more records are put up on the screen about the internet activity extracted from Erin Patterson's alleged web browsing history. They show visits to the iNationalist website around 7:22 and 7:23 on May 28th, 2022. One of the URLs listed to an iNationalist page with the observation of the death cap mushroom in Melbourne. The title of the web page is listed, Death Cap from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia on May 18th, 2022 at 2:36 by iNationalist user Bricker Reserve Morabaran at the iNationalist. Don't be tempted to put the URL searches into Google and conduct your own investigation, the judge warns.
Okay.
After some technical and methodological questions regarding the data extract from the computer, the term focus is raised. Mr. Fox Henry says the records can show how long a device was looking at a particular web page, with the example of the front page of iNationalist given. The records show it was focused on for 8 seconds before moving onto a different page. A new device is introduced to the court, a Samsung mobile phone with the PALM number 2023-C-0484-004. This device will feature later in the trial and was examined by a different police using the Cellubrite software. The prosecution reveals this was Gail Patterson's phone.
Oh my goodness.
The prosecution makes mention of messages sent and received by Gail Patterson's phone. Dates and times are given for each of these, but the prosecution says it will go through the content of these messages later with a different witness. We've run out of time now, meaning we'll pick up with more seized devices and more testimony from Mr. Fox Henry tomorrow. The jury heads out and the court is adjourned for the day. So you can see what I mean. Wednesday was really short.
Yeah, it's maybe it won't go 6 weeks.
They're just dragging it out. We're in week 5 now, so it was slightly delayed. Start as lawyers discussed a range of legal matters before the jury was seated. Our sole testimony today came from Sharon Fox Henry, a digital forensic expert and Victorian police who analysed devices from Erin Patterson's home. Here's what we learnt. Number 1, the Victorian police seized a range of devices from Erin Patterson's home following the lunch, including a desktop computer. 2, Mr. Fox Henry made a copy of the contents of the computer's 3 hard drives before searching for relevant terms in the data such as death cap and mushrooms. Oh, thank you. 14 months. Woohoo.
Nice. Wow.
Thank you so much. So 3, the records recovered by police for the drivers show that the computer searched in Bing for the iNationalist website in May 2022, some 14 months before the lunch. Number 4, on the iNationalist website, the computer looked at pages that showed a recent death cap mushroom sighting in Melbourne. And number 5, police also seized the phone of lunch victim Gail Patterson, and messages sent to and from the phone will be shown later in the trial.
Okay.
Registered nurse brought in as the first witness, so we're into Thursday. The jury is told that we'll be hearing 2 different witnesses today before returning to our computer expert, Shaman Fox Henry. Our first witness today is Maureen Kespon, a registered nurse. She was working on July 31st, 2023 at Leongatha Hospital.
Okay.
Miss Kespon says that she cared for both Ian and Heather Wilkinson and also saw Erin Patterson at Leongatha Hospital. She said she saw Miss Patterson when she first presented, but says Erin left soon after and did not return within 30 minutes. Miss Kespon tells the court Miss Patterson did not answer her mobile phone calls from Dr. Chris Webster and ultimately presented herself again later.
Okay.
Miss Kespon says that she was let into the urgent care centre and settled into a cubicle at the hospital. She tells the court that Dr. Chris Webster expressed concern for the Patterson children and asked Erin to pull them out of school to be tested for poisoning. Erin became emotional. She was crying and she was saying that if it was necessary, Miss Kespon says Erin told the hospital that her kids had not eaten any of the mushrooms and had only eaten the meat.
Okay.
When Erin Patterson went to the toilet, Miss Caspin says that she told Erin that she needed to collect her bowel movements for analysation. A bowel chart is shown to the court recording the times Erin went to the toilet at the hospital. The amount of content and the consistency of the movement is recorded on the chart. Miss Caspin asked Erin to tell her each time she went to the toilet so she could collect a sample. She tells the court Erin explained the liquid consistency of her movements. I was about to collect it, she mentioned, but it looked like wee, but it's a bowel movement, Miss Keston said. She says all her bowel movements looked the same, being a liquid consistency. I wonder if she gave herself something to make it.
I think so. She probably took something like prune juice or...
Yeah, to dilute it down so much.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing to the bowel movements that the other four were having. Do you know what I mean? They were stuck on toilets, they couldn't get off. Whereas she's just... I don't know. The court is shown Erin Patterson's bowel chart from July 31st, 2023. It refers to times Miss Patterson went to the toilet. 10 a.m., 10:04, 10:06, 10:15 and 11:50. 3 medium amounts of content were collected and 2 small amounts were collected, the charts show. Of all occasions, the consistency was described as liquid. I mean, this is a lovely subject to do to them just before lunch.
Yeah.
They could have done this one after lunch.
Yes.
Oh. I was just thinking though, like, do you know what I mean? They're in the morning. It's okay. Notes made by Miss Caspin during Erin's stay in the hospital are read to the court. In her note, she states that all the bowel movements looked like urine, despite Erin stating that it was poo. She clarifies that the volume measured of small or medium bowel movements are subject and based on a reading of the levels in the toilet pan that samples collected in. I know, I don't think I need lunch now.
No.
That's what I said. They could have done this one in the afternoon.
Oh, yes.
Emotional Erin describes days of pain, diarrhea to the nurse. So Miss Caspin says that she asked her about recent history and says Erin told her she began to feel ill on the night of July 29th after the lunch. She told the nurse she experienced abdominal pain during her bowel movements. Miss Caspin says Erin seemed distressed and emotional. Miss Caspin tells the court she was present for a phone conversation Erin Patterson had with the police where she told them where the leftovers from the lunch were. She was instructing them as to where they could find the leftovers, Miss Caspin says. She mentioned that it would be in the bin in a Woolies paper bag. Miss Caspin says Erin told police this was the meal she fed to her children. The Woolworths paper bag was eventually brought to the hospital and Miss Caspin took it to Erin to have her confirm whether it was in fact the leftovers. She says Erin looked inside and confirmed it was the leftovers. Between mushrooms and poo, See, I still don't think those leftovers had any contents in it. Because my theory is, since she made individual ones, the 4 individual ones that were poisoned, We're already eating. Miss Kespin also tells the court that Erin Patterson briefly left the hospital to retrieve something from her car before returning. Colin Mandy SC is now up to cross-examine Miss Kespin. He confirms that Miss Kespin that Erin's blood pressure was measured at 130/100, a high reading. Mr. Mandy focused on the first bowel movements made 6 minutes apart. Miss Kespin says she observed the clear liquid with the small brown bits in it and says she took a sample of one of the bowel movements. She tells the court she has seen patients previously with similar coloured bowel movements. 100%.
Oh yeah.
The only people I really feel like, obviously I feel sorry for Simon and his family. You know what I mean? They've losing 3 people, no matter how it was, would be hard on a family. But I feel for her children because not only have they watched her parents fight over money and everything that they've all they've spoke about it themselves, but now they're dealing with Jim in a high chance of losing their mum to prison. That's where my heart goes. It's always the kids.
Yeah. You imagine what they would get at school from their peers.
I know. And they're small towns in Victoria, so everyone's going to know.
Know everyone.
And then the church, you got to think of the church family. Yeah. Mr. Mandy confirmed several more details, including Erin Patterson stating her pain was on a 7 out of 10 while at hospital. Miss Kespin confirms that Erin Patterson directed police to search her bin for leftovers. Her testimony draws to a close and the next witness is brought up to give testimonies. We next hear from Tony Shokanet. I can't even pronounce that last name. And I just called him Tony and it's Troy. Troy Shoket. An environment health officer with the City of Monash Council. It is devastating for the kids. And that's just where my heart, I always think of, like, what about the kids? Where's the baby? Sorry. You know, my grandson is 18 months and he'll walk around the house now. Where's the baby? Where's the baby? It comes from his nana.
Yeah.
So we're just going to call him Troy because I can't say that last name, says he was contacted by the Department of Health in the days following the lunch. He says he was told a person may have purchased poison mushrooms at an Asian grocer in Oakley, Clayton, or Mount Waverley. You sent me something about this Mount Waverley today.
Did I? Huh.
You did. I have to go back and check. The court hears counsel were enlisted to search for the mushrooms in local businesses. It's on my head now. I'm sure you sent me something about it. Erin had mentioned Glen Waverley, that all previous discussions were Mount Waverley. Oh, we're playing. And we'll have to keep a note for that. Okay. Is this where we're up to? Yeah, Troy
Yes.
is back on the stand and has taken the conclusion of his report. It addresses three key parts. Question 1. Has there been any changes in supply since April? Answer. All the premises visited that were identified as selling the fresh or dried mushrooms had not changed and their suppliers since April 2023. Okay, so he's the one that had to go out and check the stores because she said she brought it in that Asian store. I asked further if they had anyone attend at the premises trying to wholesale sell them mushrooms for the intention of on-selling, and they all responded that they had not had anyone trying to sell them mushrooms. Question 2. Are there any products that do not have proper labels, if any, that they may be collected or dehydrated locally? Answer. Only Golden Grocery was repacking products and applying their own label. It was identified during the investigation the product was too large and were whole dried mushrooms as opposed to the sliced dried mushrooms. Any non-compliance identified have been referred to the area officer to follow up the proper tier. No products were identified to the local or manufacturers in Australia. All dried products were imported. Question 3. Are any suppliers or local producers? All dried mushroom products investigated were imported and imported supply details identified. Anyone for big one? Kez, you make me laugh. The defence, Sophie Stanford, is now up to cross-examine Mr. Troy. We're just calling him Mr. Troy. He confirms he told the jury he visited 14 stores across the 3 suburbs, and 11 of those sold dried mushrooms. Of those 11 stores, 9 sold sliced mushrooms. Miss Stanford then hones in on one particular store, the Golden Grocery, that repacked products and applied their own labels. During the cross-examine, Mr. Troy is taken to some of the pictures in his report. The court is shown pictures of dried, repacked mushrooms taken from one of the supermarkets. Dried bags of black fungus and dried tea tree mushrooms are shown to the court, contained in a small see-through plastic bag. Mr. Stanford notes that Mr. Troy did not visit any of the stores despite offering to do so. The defence finishes their questioning and Mr. Troy is excused. We heard the first part of the testimony yesterday relating to the computer seized from Erin Patterson's house. Now Mr. Fox Henry is returning to complete his testimony. The prosecution presents a Samsung phone that was seized by police from Erin's home, data that was extracted by police. The first piece of evidence to see from the phone are Facebook messages. A few weeks ago in the trial, we heard from 3 of Erin Patterson's Facebook friends about discussions they had in a group chat. The names of some of the witnesses are seen as participants in the chat: Denny Barkley, Jenny Hay, Bronwyn Rapp, Joy Chorus, and Erin, allegedly to be Erin Patterson.
Okay.
Online chat messages from Erin Patterson to some of her Facebook friends are read aloud to the court. This conversation took place about 7 months before the fatal lunch and is timestamped 6th of the 12th, 2022. Simon's dad contacted me this morning to say that he and Gail had tried to talk to Simon about the matters I raised and to get his side, that he refused to talk about it other than to signal his disagreement with what I said. Beyond that, he wouldn't talk about it, so Don said they can't adjudicate if they don't know both sides, and Simon won't give his side. Emoji. So he said all he can do is ask is that Simon and I get together, pray for the children, emoji emoji, this family, I swear to Bip, God. A long series of messages are read to the court expressing frustration with Simon Patterson and his family. The terms gaslighting, abusive, and weasel words are used in the messages, with Erin Patterson claiming that her son hated his father. I'm sick of this shit. I want nothing to do with them, one of the messages said. Another message read, his mum was horrified I had claimed child support. Why isn't she horrified her son is such a deadbeat that I had no choice but to claim? Not that I'm standing up for her, but when you separate from a partner, you have to claim child support. Otherwise, you're not entitled to any benefits for your children. Now, I'm not saying, like, Centrelink obviously is one of them if they need to go that way. I don't think she did, because we know she had a lot of money. She has lent a lot out. But even things like school fees, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much more. And if you don't claim for child support, you can't get those benefits for your children. So, do you mean her having to claim for child support? They shouldn't see that as a bad. Like, I know what they're getting at, but it's just, do you know what I mean? As parents, we have to do that.
Yeah.
Even if you turn around and say that, okay, I'm collecting it privately off them, what you can do that, but child support still has to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't get anything without it.
No, like I know with my children it was school fees and stuff, but even with now my grandchildren, do you know what I mean? My daughter struggles because of my grandson she can't get child support for. So it's just, it has to be done. It's not making you a bad parent by.
Yeah.
And as I said, like, I'm not standing up for her. It's just, it's a fact, and that's not making her a bad parent.
Yeah.
After these emotional messages are read to the court, Justin Beale cuts it and asks for a break. Of course he does. The prosecution has mentioned we may also see messages from the app Signal. Earlier in the trial, we heard that the Patterson family had a group chat in Signal together, which Simon claimed was used to send abusive, accurate messages, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes. Like, it's just not always about the money. I know people think child support, they just think money. It's not always just about money. Do you know what I mean? It's... Okay, we're back from the break. Some pictures are shown to the court from Erin Patterson's phone. One is a picture of a black food dehydrator, which appears to be on the white kitchen bench. This picture is accompanied by a table full of tech information such as a file name, path, and size. The picture was modified on April 30th, 2023, the record says. More questions are asked by prosecutor Jane Warren about the technical details about this photo and whether it was uploaded to the Google Photos application. As Mr. Fox Henry is asked to explain how Google Photos work, the judge intervenes to ask if this evidence is necessary. Miss Warren says she needs to go through it due to the potential of defence barrister Colin Mandy disputing the evidence. Given it's later in the day, maybe Mr. Mandy is getting cranky, Justin Bill asks. Drawing laughter to the courtroom, we carry on. I think the judge is ready to go home for the day.
Yep.
Images found on a Samsung tablet are shown to the court and described by the prosecutor. Several photos are shown to the court showing yellowy dried mushrooms in a plastic tray. Several are photos retrieved from Miss Patterson's phone for May 4th, 2023. Another picture is a bunch of large field mushrooms on a scale. The same photo was shown to the court earlier in the trial when mushroom expert Dr. Tom May was on the stand.
Yep.
I could hear something out the front. I think Spirit Time's home.
Oh.
It's all right. I just could hear the music. I'm like, what's that? The court is also shown what appeared to be screenshots of internet searches again, seized from Miss Patterson's tablet. They suggest Miss Patterson was looking up information about stage 4 cancer, stage 4 ovarian cancer, and the brain lupathin. Zooming out a bit, if we cast our mind back to earlier in the trial, witnesses Ian Wilkerson told the court that Miss Patterson told the lunch guest that she had cancer. Later it emerged that the cancer claim was untrue and no records exist showing Miss Patterson had never been diagnosed with cancer. A report of another one of Miss Patterson's phones is shown to the court. No data was able to be recovered from the device, which Mr. Fox Henry says was due to an irresistible reset. Based on the report, it appears the device had been factory reset, Mr. Fox says. A table shows 4 factory resets occurring in February 2nd, 2023, August 2nd, 2023, August 5th, 2023, and August 6th, 2023. Now, I know if you do one factory reset, it wouldn't lose the data. But if you have a look at that, she's done one on August 2nd, August 5th, and August 6th. So I don't know, 3 on top of each other like that.
Yeah.
The final 3 resets having occurred in the week after the fatal lunch. Additional information shows the method of a factory reset, and the first 3 occasional show the phone was wiped locally. The final time was wiped remotely by user, according to the report. I've just got to step away for 2 minutes. Can you just read the next one?
Yeah, sure. Is this an... Okay. Court is adjourned.
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. Court is adjourned. The prosecution concludes its rundown of the table, outlining the time and date of each factory reset. After they finish, Judge Beale signals an end for the day's proceedings, and court is adjourned. We'll return for a shortened day tomorrow. Oh, yeah, you're right, Kez. She was determined to, get them all together. Although I wonder if she actually put the mushrooms in the meat or if she put them in the pastry. I think that's this week. It came up about the pastry.
Yeah, I think it's further.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to go give my husband a kiss. He just walked in.
Oh.
How's it back?
Hey, use it back.
And we're adjourned.
Yes.
So what we learnt today, we saw 2 fresh witnesses, as well as the return of the digital forensic expert Shaman Fox Henry. So Nurse Caspin, who treated Erin Patterson in Leongatha Hospital following the lunch, gave her account of her contact with the accused killer. We also heard from Troy, an environment health officer with the City of Monash Council, who searched for the Asian grocer alleged to have sold the deadly mushrooms. Here's what we learned. In some testimonies, not for the skirmish, Caspin provided an account of bowel movements made by Erin Patterson, who told the nurse that although it was mainly liquid, she had in fact moved her bowels. Miss Caspin also told the court that she was present during the phone conversation Miss Patterson had with the police, and Miss Patterson had directed the police to where to find the leftovers she had fed to her children.
Mm.
You can make a paste with the mushrooms and put it around meat. Yeah, so you get your meat, and then there's a paste of, as Tracy just said, it's a paste of like mushrooms and everything. It layers around the meat, and then the pastry goes over the top. So you're supposed to make it in like one big log of meat. You know how you buy the really big logs?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, she couldn't get the big logs, being the reason why she made the individual ones. She didn't tell the children she was... I know. I don't think she had, because the lunch was apparently, air quotes, to tell the family on how to tell the children. So I don't know if she'd actually told them. But Simon had spoke of before her saying that, like, using her health as well. So but we also know she was also, the children didn't like mushrooms, and she was grinding them up to powders and putting them in their muffin.
Okay.
So Troy investigated more than a dozen Asian groceries, but found only one store selling mushrooms with their own packaging. He was unable to find the death cap mushrooms fitting the direct description given by Erin Patterson. 4 messages were read aloud to the court from a group chat Erin Patterson participated in, where she described frustration with her deadbeat estranged husband Simon Patterson and his parents. 5. The data from a Samsung tablet taken from Erin Patterson's home also featured several images of mushrooms on scales and internet searches for cancer information. Data from a phone seized from Erin Patterson's house shows it had factory reset 4 times in 2023, including 3 times after the deadly lunch. So Friday, the 23rd of May, 2025, court is in session again. And we only have half a day Friday, so we're nearly done.
Okay.
Okay, she asked her guests how to break the news to the children. That was the whole Benance to get them all there.
Yep.
But you got to remember too, Heather and Ian, so the auntie and uncle, also said that they weren't ever invited to lunches. So this was the first time they had been to Erin's house. And in fact, they were actually surprised they got an invitation.
Yeah. Ugh.
So Friday the 23rd, 2025, we've started with some legal discussions. The jury has yet to be brought into the courtroom, and we've begun hearing from a new witness, Professor Stephen Wallio, a director
Warrior.
of intensive care. I think if you've just got a hard name, you just go into this field. Intensive care of the Austin Health, where the lunch guests were treated. Professor Wallio helped treat Don and Gail Patterson and Heather and Ian Wilkinson. Don Patterson was the first patient to arrive on July 31st after being transferred from Dandenong Hospital, where he had been diagnosed with acute liver failure. Professor Wallio, I can't even pronounce it. Wallio says Don. It's like Willow, but what? Wario.
Warrior.
Says Don has brought to the Austin because it had a liver transplant service. He says Don was critically unwell and on life support with severe liver injury and liver failure. He had severely high indications. His blood clotting measures were grossly abnormal, including a buildup of acid and ammonia in the blood.
Okay.
Professor Willio says a range of tests were carried out to try and find any other possible causes apart from the medio mushroom poisoning, like viruses, but none were found. He says Don received multiple doses activated charcoal to try and remove the emilio, so the death cap poisoning, from the bowel, and other drugs to try and counter the effects of the poisoning. He described the treatment as a lot of very intense treatments. He said Don continued to deteriorate despite very aggressive treatments. We were very, very worried about his progress. He was getting worse, Professor Willio said. And sadly, we know Don didn't make it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Professor Willio says over the following days, Don continued to deteriorate. His circulation was increasingly compromised and his bowel stopped working. Don had a liver transplant, but Professor Willio says he got relentlessly worse and it became clear he was passing away. He passed away on August 5th with multiple organ failure. Professor Willio says Gail was transferred on July 31st, also critically ill with acute liver failure. She received the same treatment as Don, but the next day she had rapidly deteriorated in the advanced stages of multiple organ failure and advanced shock. Professor Willio says her liver stopped working on August 2nd. She was on everything we had, he says. He says they considered a liver transplant but didn't conduct one because the senior specialist believed she was too sick for the surgery. He says the blood stopped flowing to Gail's bowel and that section had passed. She passed away on August 4th. And 100%.
Yes, agreed.
It'd just be very painful, like so many days, just. And even doing it, it was the fact that she didn't come out and say, oh, there could have been some mushrooms in that dinner, because then they would have, do you know what I mean, been able to get to it quicker. It's the fact they had to wait and spend 2 or 3 days trying to find what was causing it.
Yeah, but they should have just.
If she
I don't even know. You can't hear anything. Ozzy, I can't hear you.
That's all right. My daughter just called on.
Oh.
So I was muted for a second. I get worried when they go out and they call me. It's like, what happened? Okay, so Ian came in the same day as Heather with similar symptoms, including acute liver failure. Professor Wallio says he was on a ventilator and was critically ill. He says August 2nd, Ian was extremely unwell and continued to deteriorate, needing support for his circulation. On August 4th, the acid in Ian's blood was higher. Professor Willio says Ian started to slowly improve on August 5th and was off the ventilator by August 14th. He was eventually sent to Hellenberg Hospital and was discharged. Professor Wallio says he came very close to passing.
Damn.
I remember when when they let him out, because we were all so shocked that
Survived.
Yeah. Professor Willio is asked to explain why the mushroom poisoning diagnosed was made on the basis of mushroom consumption and no other cause being identified. He revealed the hospital had no test that specially identifies the mushroom toxin. He says the treatments are not 100% effective and there's a high mortality rate even with optical care. The court is now taking a break. And I have heard that in everything I've been, like, there's things they can do to try and stop it and prolong it so that they've got more time for your body to fight back, but there's no actual cure for the poisoning. Chick Tracy, next movie night, don't order pizza with mushrooms, okay? Just thinking of your health. That's our invite to movie night.
Yeah.
I'll bring all the mushrooms to the pizza.
Yeah.
So we're back from the break. The defence has no questions for professional Willow, so he finishes his time in court. Digital forensic expert from Victorian Police, Shaman Fox Henry, is called back to the stand. This guy loves us.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Like the third time he's been on the stand.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Shaman Fox Henry is the witness who took us through the group chat messages, images taken from Erin Patterson's tablet and other data, including the searches. Prosecutor Jane Warren is taking him back through the mobile phone report. They're clarifying dates and times within the report. Early finish to today's evidence. The court was adjourned for the week. It heard just over an hour of evidence this morning and is scheduled to return on Monday. Now tell me that they're not slacking Victoria.
Oh, that's slacking a bit.
It was only a short session of court in Morwell today. The first witness was Professor Stephen Wallio, a director of intensive care at the Austin Health, where the lunch guests were treated. Then we very briefly heard from the Victorian Police digital expert Shaman Fox Henry, who was on the stand for minor clarification from yesterday's evidence. Here's what we've learnt this morning. Don Patterson received a liver transplant at the Austin Hospital, but Professor Willio says he got relentlessly worse. It became clear he was passing. Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson were both too unwell to undergo surgery, so did not receive a transplant. Ian Wilkinson came very close to passing, but slowly started to improve after almost a week of treatment. Professor Wallio says the hospital doesn't have a specific test for the mushroom poisoning, So the diagnosis of Patterson and Wilkinson's illnesses was based on factors including their consumption of the mushrooms. These symptoms and the tests for other causes, such as viruses, were negative. Number 5, Professor Willio says the treatments for the poisoning are not 100% effective and there's a high mortality rate even with optical care. And that's it for the end of the week. So we have started again yesterday for week 5.
Yes.
So we'll bring that to everyone on the weekend. I did touch on this one yesterday, and I am just going to mention it again. Let me find it. We are working on a presentation. So this is another case that has just come up. Let me remove that one.
Okay.
This is Phoebe Bishop. She's a 17-year-old that has gone missing from Bundaberg Airport. I am doing a presentation, so we are going to do a live on all of the facts, but she is still missing at the moment. She's been missing since the 15th of May, so we're up to day 12. And she was supposed to be check-in for a flight at 8:30. We know she did leave with her roommates to go to the flight, but what happened on that trip we don't know, or whether she's made it. Well, we know she didn't make it because the CCTV footage hasn't got her, and she didn't check in. They are searching now. Do you know what I mean? I know yesterday they've been searching a national forest. I can't think of the name of it again.
I can't either.
Goodnight Scrub National Forest, I think.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So they have been searching that now for about 4 days, and they brought the cadaver dogs in last night. So fingers crossed, because this family is, do you know what I mean? They're close to, the girl that's missing, one of her friends is my granddaughter's auntie. So this one's a bit close to home. I am working on a presentation, but I just want everyone to know about it. She is about 6 foot tall, so 180 centimeters, pale complexion. They're saying that her hair's long but dyed red, and she has hazel eyes. So we are working on that one, and I will have that one out soon. But yeah, just praying for them. It's funny when do you know what I mean? We come and report, or I come and do these on so many crimes, and then when you get one that hits close, it's like, oh. And I always joke that I'd be the first one reporting, and like, really, I just, this one's hard. So we are working on that one. We've got William tomorrow night. Are you going to be right for William, or?
Yeah, should be. Was that info? Is that info I got new?
It was, yeah. It was talking about the us getting the coroner report coming down, but they've been saying that and saying it, so I'm keeping my eye out in all places. There's not much being done at the moment, but I don't even know if they're going to go and dig up near that tree. So I'm still trying to, do you know what I mean? That's sort of just gone under the carpet, what's really sad.
Yeah.
Depends on what time for me. Between 7 and 9. Okay. I'll get with Mac J and we'll try and work it out. I can start earlier. That's not a problem. It's just noise because my granddaughter doesn't go to bed till 7:30. But we'll figure it out. We'll work out something, even if we do it earlier in the day or something. But I'll get with Mac J and we'll work it out and I'll put it up. Okay. But thank you everyone for coming and listening to Mushroom Lady again. And other than that, we'll get on to all the things and keep working on more.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Make sure you all go over to Mac J's, give her a like on her videos, just a comment, help her out. If you want to play some of her playlists, you don't have to listen to us a second time. Just mute it and let it play for her. Let's build her hours up. And other than that, I'll see you all next time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Every true crime on the rise. Investigate the scene, uncover the lies. From Melbourne to Sydney, all the way to Perth. No case too tough, we'll dig into the dirt. We'll crack the code, find the truth, bring justice to the table. No excuse, Australian legends in the game, bringing light to darkness, no shame. Just got a super chat, let's celebrate. Raise a glass for all the cases we've solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. From cold cases to missing persons, we'll leave no stone unturned. Every version detectives in our hearts will never give up. For justice and truth will always hear us. Ooh, thank you so much. Let's celebrate, raise a glass for all the cases we solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate, raise a glass for all the cases we've solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. For all the cases we've solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. Let's celebrate, raise a glass for all the cases we've solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. Thank you so much.